Yes, guys, good evening, good morning. Once again, welcome to the night shift space, the revolutionary space, as we are looking and heading to 2026 protest vote. As we are heading to 2026 protest vote, of course, we see a lot of things that are happening, both within the opposition camp and also within the regime. Of course, the regime is not seated. The regime is fronting so many bearers, presidential bearers, flag bearers, creating so many funny parties and political parties in the pretext that they can deprive Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's influence. We're also seeing so many of our comrades in the struggle, especially the activists, who are choosing to take sides. Team Gund. But as you take Team Gund, ask yourselves, the people you're taking Team Gund, what is their motive? Muleme kukyamukirira aba comrade. Wano wetugenda si bintu bya kukyamukirira nti am Team Gund, am Team what? It is about reason. It is about sense of reasoning. It's about understanding the person we are supporting. Are they genuine to the cause? Are we going to get more Impugas? Are we going to get the more Kazibe Bashiris? Are we going to get the more Joyce Bagalas? Or we are going to get people legit to the struggle and to the cause? Muleme kukyamukirira bakwa abantu babokyayo. I was seeing people fronting some lady that has been standing against Shamim Malende called Winfred Nakandi. This lady was on the night shift here, comrades, if you all remember. And so many things we asked her left so many questions unanswered. You cannot tell me a person that has been dancing with the regime apologists and the regime itself later on comes and says that they're part of the struggle. And then you, comrades, you're busy hoodwinking yourselves and thinking, hey, she's part of us. And you think we are safe. We are not going to keep fighting the same battles we are fighting over and over. We are dealing with the effects of Kazibe Bashir. We are dealing with the effects of the Impugas. We are dealing with the effects of the Joyce Bagalas, the Abedi Manikas. And then you're bringing us the same people that are going to give us the same. And then just because perhaps they've given you some data, they've given you some... Come on, comrades. Do not betray the cause like this. Scrutinize. Use your intelligence. Use your brains. You went to school to use your brains. Don't just use what they're paying you for you to just blind yourselves from the realities. The regime is planting so many people in the opposition in order to quell the protest vote. This is what you're not understanding. Time is going to come when we are going for protest vote, and the leaders that will be mobilizing our people are going to be silent. The regime is implanting those leaders that are going to be silent. And then some of us, we are busy falling prey to that. Guys, mwetereze. Wanatugenda si bintu bya kusaga. This is about life and death. This is about people's lives at stake. We can't keep living in the same shoes over and over. You know? We can't. We can't keep repeating the same things. We have people languishing in jail. We have our comrades that have disappeared for close to 5 years, 6 years, never to be seen. The likes of John Bosco Chibalamaz, they're nowhere to be seen. And the rest of the comrades. We move on to around struggle as if it's something likely. Man, this is something that means a lot. We want regime change. And some of you are playing gallery to the regime by trying to, you're playing the games that the regime plays all along. The regime has been playing for 40 years. Creating a team good. Comrades in the struggle. Avoid being the green snakes in the green grass. Our ultimate mission is the liberation of the country through a revolution, through one revolutionary leader, one people's president, none other than AKA Bobby Wine, none other than His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. That is the revolutionary leader. Stop falling prey for things that are diverting us. The regime has invested so much in so many people to divert the revolution. Can't you guys use your brains? Can't you use your brains, comrades? Why are we so quick? Why are we so quick? Why can't we stand our ground and liberate our country first? We are a few months away. The dictator's son is tweeting so many things. The dictator's son knows that he's the one in charge. If we ignore these things and think it's lightly, this is how they're going to take over the country while we are watching. Because we are focusing on small positions that don't even matter in the broader picture. On the other hand, I also want to share as the night shifters that yes, finally, we've been able to achieve our gadget that has been stressing us for some time. It is today that finally the conclusion was made. And therefore, I want to say thank you to all of you, comrades. Aluta continua. But now we go back to the revolution. Do we people understand the struggle we are in? Or it is just a matter of speaking in the struggle? Do people understand the tyrant we are dealing with? Do people understand the protest vote? These leaders you're supporting, ask yourself, are they going to stand with the president when the victory has been robbed? Are they going to mobilize their people? Struggle, man. We are struggling to keep the revolution moving forward. Some of you are playing gallery to the regime's scripts. Most of these leaders are not going to defend the victory once we are calling out for people to protest. They are going to be waiting for when they are going to iron their suits, wear their nice dresses, and go to parliament and swear. And then the president will be left just like that. Are we going to have the same replica of 2020, 2021? Really? It's better we do not take things lightly, comrades. The white singer kunuma, knowing that the dictator is the weakest man we have ever had, but he uses the branches within us to advocate his rule. He uses people of caliber, people of stature, people of great influence, the intelligent people, the intellectuals, the business people, people in the health sectors, people you would expect that are land. These are the people the dictator uses to thrive on. That is what pains me. That we can end this madness if only we all join hands together. Comrades, think about this. Either we want regime removal or we just want the same. Me personally, as Muj Martin, as the host of the Night Shift, I want the regime change. And that's why our hashtag is Museveni must go. I don't care whoever listens or what, because my future has been robbed away. I can only hope for a brighter future in a new Uganda of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, not in this current system, because this current system cannot enable anybody to thrive unless you're a Gambanogu. Comrade Santos, I see your mic is on. You can take on the mic, comrade. Anyway, with that, Santos, if you're there, you can take on the mic, but I just wanted to reiterate these comments. We are heading in very tough times. The other day, you saw Comrade Eddie Mutwe, while he was in court. Aina sign gye yabakolera ng'abalaga nti waliwo omuntu gwe battira wansi mu basement. Bino ebintu bannange bireme kututeekaawo ne tulowooza nti everything is normal. Things are not normal. Abaana abali mu makomero essuubi balirinamu ffe. Naye mutandika okuzannya games ez'ekisiru, muli musima timu gundi. You're letting those comrades down. Because for them, one of the things that is keeping them in jail is because they're staying truthful to the revolution. They want regime removal. Naye munaddawo muli mu timu gundi, muli mukuba bugigi. Abaana muba muba disappointing. Ne president muba mu disappointing. Mwagala tugambe nti kati namwe dictator yabayingirira mutandise okwogera ebyekisiru. Comrades, Ugandans, wake up. Nobody's safe in a sinking boat. Comrade Santos, in case you have time, you can take on the mic. Otherwise, I just wanted to give a preamble for that. As we wait for our comrades, please let's share the space and yeah, let's wait for more of our comrades to join in.
Well, good evening, Dr. James. Good afternoon to you. And I don't know if I'm loud and clear, Martin. Comrades, am I loud?
Yes, you're loud and clear. I can hear you, comrade. And those listening in the background.
Thank you. All right. I have to first confirm because for the past 2 days I've been having issues with my network. I was always here listening for 30 minutes, then I'm off. So anyway, whatever is happening to this country and whatever is happening right now, sometimes I usually say it is hard to protect my country. Like it is very, very, very hard when you look at the issues that are happening with our airline. Like it is sad because this is a national image. It is a national image. Like there's no way we can blame tourists not coming to Uganda when we have issues, headlines that the whole cabinet, the whole people, the whole crew, received money to purchase new planes and they just purchased used ones. And on top of that, they made headline that they don't even have spare parts. And you expect people to book. You expect some of us to be patriotic enough to say, okay, I'm going to fly with Uganda Airline. Spare parts. Sometimes it is like it is a joke. Then it also drives me to dig deep what is really happening in this country. Then when you dig deep, that's when you fall to the report that Joel Senyon, then when he was the chair of COSASE, showing the drama in the top leadership of Uganda Airline, how people got jobs. So when you dig deep and you read through all that, you're like, am I safe to use Uganda Airline? Honestly. And the other question is, who is to be blamed? Who is responsible actually? Because bakola ebintu byabwe ne bamala myaka esatu ne bakomawo nga like they are okay to look into camera, like depending on gwe batya, because I don't think you can do such mistakes in Rwanda. Noyimirira mu maaso g'eggwanga n'ogamba abantu nyinza twagula nkadde. Sometimes when negombera aba true dictator bagala ensiza because kati such people singa baliruzira bonna.
Santos omusajja yakwata bamutuulaki atatuukangako na makerere n'empapula ze za form 6 zokka nga bazibuusa n'amugamba amuwadde ekifo kuba kitaawe y'omu kuba contributinga mu lutalo lw'eluweero, and the lady has been earning 87 million per month. This is the Uganda we are in. Nti it is not about nti Santos olina obusobozi nedda mwana waani. This is why our national airline has ended up in the state in which it is today. Niamini atasomo Uganda we are Boeing. Ebyo byonna tebyaliwo. Kino kitulaga kimu Santos. Bano eggwanga balirabanga market gye bajja okukola ssente, tuyitamu buyisi, si kuzizimba wabula tuyitamu buyisi, nogako kyonoga, teekawo bw'oteekawo, tugende mu maaso. Go on, Comrade Santos.
Thank you, bro, for that information. Because mpuliriza obawuliriza odi eno. Some of us twejjusa abazungu tuleka otuwa independence. We regret. Yeah, we regret. Abazungu balisigadde batufuga. Because when you research at a time when whites left Uganda, when we were given our independence, eggwanga we lyali ne byalina newe tuli kati okwata ku maziga n'okaaba. We regret. We are at a level of saying we are very, very sorry. Please, British, mukomewo mutufugemu. Please come back and take over your colony. There are things that happen in this country and you're like, who is responsible? Because we want to ask people, who is responsible for the Umeme deal? And I think about Fuga Bachkola deliberately to deny, put a stop on civic education within Ugandans, because these are things a normal Ugandan should be informed about and should be worried about. We should question these people. I recently heard about a Ugandan, I think it was from NTV, ekyuma ky'akasasiro kyabbibwa ne kitwalibwa e Rwanda. Like, it was a headline in a country that has 50 million people. And if it is possible, abazungu bakomewo batukwatemu. Abazungu batukomewo batukwatemu. I was listening to someone was giving a brief information about Jinja and Busoga people back then. But those Busoga used to produce good engineers. And it popped in my mind. That's why whenever I'm going to that side of eastern Uganda, at least you find most of the households, most of them have those machines, small machines to do those, industrial work. That Jinja, Obusoga region, or eastern Uganda, was a center of best engineers in this country and East Africa at large. Look at Jinja to Jayochi. Like, sometimes I'm like, what is, before I actually go to what is worrying you, Martin, of these members of parliament, Martin, I will say this clearly, and to each and everyone that is listening. 90% of those so-called members of parliament are not in position to change leadership. None of them is thinking about 90% of them. This is the time you're going to witness, this is the time you're going to watch them fighting for their positions back. Because sometimes neighbors are, okay, Simani, I'm not even concerned about their seats. But the question is, if you want to take over General Museveni, Zahara, in your position as a speaker, okay, everyone has a right to question. But the other question is, to bring out that attention, that fun attention in public. Because both of them are to get tag. We need both of you. At the end of the day, I suddenly landed on a video, was it from Sauda Madada, attacking Shamim, and I was like, oh no. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. At the end of the day, when we still have the same president, it will not make sense. Now, honorable numbers and a statement. If we change the presidency, and that was a very powerful statement that these idiots did not even take. Nya hit parliament. Martin, your hand is up. It's okay, brother.
Actually, it was up by coincidence, but I was trying to reiterate what you just highlighted about numbers. Numbers were trying to highlight Ngagamba, the biggest focus in Nakubera presidency. Na eche unisanti abantu baffe. Na dala abeesimbyewo amakanda bagalaze nti it's about positions. Ate n'abaana baffe ba activists, ba Twitter warriors and the rest, nabo ne falling a victim to that. Awo Museveni watwagala tubenga tulwanirira obufofofo. That is what he enjoys. Comrade Santos, Museveni lyesanyulye lwatulabanga tubalaatira mu nsonga ezirina amakulu ne tutandika okutwala nola abantu nga ba Sauda Madada and the rest of the comrades coming out. It's a pity and it's a shaming. At the end of the day, obudde tulina butono, Santos, me and you know that between now and next year, we're a few months away. Dictator ali mu kuplaninga ku ground, ali mu kukola byonna byakola. Fe tutunulidde bufofofo. At the end of the day, the question is, who of those is going to mobilize people on the streets? Because we know that the dictator is going to rob our victory. And that's why we're going for the protest vote. Never make up a protest vote. Santos.
Thank you, brother. So, omuntu omanyambe abana bera ku TikTok abana funa dobozi muli sharing these so-called members of parliament, most so that are affiliated to opposition. We Ugandans still to kumanya this area is under NUP or NRM. We no longer need to know. We only want leadership change from top. So I don't care if Lubongoya wins Kampala or it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. We have had Joe Resenyon in parliament, and we know now maybe implemented because of what the top leadership is on the other side. So the chinga so kubana Joe Resenyon kumi nga president, the speaker of parliament, the head of judiciary. It does not make sense. At the end of the day, it will completely not make sense. Actually, they will not win within Kampala. They know. So, drama, they can use it as an opportunity. What does it do? Do you think General Museveni achaine ensonyi kera kumacha na Kampala n'agitwala? Because I know example zirikira ajja kugamba Kampala member MP abadde wange nga wenale mwajja kugamba like that. Era kubuze nokuza kuchechi kufula nti umane mpira so akubera wani.
Santos we batta fefe kaseribogo we kayunga ne babba nakwedda akalulu broad daylight nabanja n'agaba 10 ekiro kiramba ne babba akalulu. Do you think that a man has shame in him to even do the same in Kampala? Of course he has no shame, and this is what this dictates. Ono tacha aswala. I even have a feeling ono musajja aleka signing an endagano ne shaitani kuba byakola tacha alina muku teyeguya taswala musajja mukulu ku myaka gyalina akulaga ita swala. So people who think that this is a man who ajokwebera mu ne remorse ngaba ngotunuli anti Kenya they had Moi, Arap Moi, nti Moi he reached a level and he had to negotiate his way out. Ono ye eyo level yagivaako. Ono alabika ye igwanga lyaffe yalitunda na moyo gwe. Like he's beyond that. Yamanyi olulimi lulimu bawe sente we bagana bakube essasi oba baziike. That's what he believes in. Assassination, killing, poisoning, and that's it. Genda Santos Mas.
Ngoyagala manya ntegera y'abatufuga. Ojawuliriza nze manya nnyo bawuliriza. Because you get to know bana abantu abatufuga entegera yaabwe eriita. Recently, Prime Minister wa Uganda yakoze statement. Ambuziza ku opposition nagamba bawulira nga bali too much oppressed. Bafulume gwanga. But because tuli mu gwanga nga buli mutafaayo, we took that statement lightly. But that statement isn't at any cost lightly. It is not lightly. Dino gwanga funyo that ebintu tubisagiramu. Enyo yo statement ku bantu nga bategeera. Sina tuli ku nguudo atunyonyole badde ategeeza. Because at the end of the day, tell your president kabere kyagwe ntagenda fuga 99% nga bonna bamwagala. Of course he has to get opposition people. But as a leader, as a prime minister, you must be neutral. As a prime minister, you must be neutral. Tusobola kera kumacha kugamba mama nabanja. Who told you all of President Museveni? And who told you this country is for you only? That whoever feels being oppressed should leave this country. Where should we go? Where should we go? And I pity people from Ugandans abroad. Namwe mutusibyeko nnyo government and you people keep on sending support home. Please leave us to die here. Because at the end of the day, nothing to leave us zero. At the end of the day, nothing to leave us zero. I don't know how we can preach to Ugandans to start sending a message, even if you don't go on the streets. But send a message and follow these musicians. And follow them and block them. In the Martin, I don't know, but at some point I was like, I will not go and watch Uganda Cranes playing. What is going on well in this country that can make me go to Nambola and watch Uganda Cranes? Me, that is a protest, that is a boycott that I'm doing. And I was like, in that same reasoning. Because if you fear going on the streets, at least protest in a very peaceful way. Why do you guys subscribe on these Go TVs and other StarTimes things? Save that money for something else. What is going on in this country that is well? Do you know what it means? Mukachiko, Nagamba, Abakaba Parliament. Mbumi, the errors that are happening right now, the former ED of Uganda Airline is responsible. I'm not responsible. You are not responsible on the money of this country, on our taxes. That you guys went and bought second-hand planes. And in that funny way, they went ahead and released an headline that the plane lacks spare parts, and on the same time, these fools are investing a lot of money to market the airline. And you go through with ina magezi. Ngategera bunya inzo gena nali nyinyi yasomye omuntu omukuta ina spare parts. Okujja kunga musibe migugu banga mutaddeyo nga mugugu. I will never sobola jirinya because njiyingira njitya. Ati manyi mwakomade chokola service. How are you going to prove to Ugandans that banange temwera likirira enyonyi ya very safe? How are you going to prove to Ugandans? You made those headlines when you know, I think about okay, these idiots think very okay to release such statements. Biruma. Sometimes I regret to get Uganda and if I meet God, I will ask Munsizo Narachi Uganda. And Kenya never will be a warning today. Nembera kuna abana Kenya. Because I can't be in a country that has drama a week per week. Wakava musonga za umeme, abasiru watu wa mwaka gwa bili wa mukaga 5, and they made agreements. They signed papers on behalf of all of us, including our grandchildren. Sente sokaze twawadde umeme ngegenda. Mulimu amalwaliro ameka. Mulimu amasomero ameka. I don't know. Sometimes, and someone brings in another information of the airport, and you raise questions. These are the fools, Martin Boyogaka Parliament. These are the fools that leave these papers to just pass. Apparently, the country is on pressure to send us the bus to the bank in China, I think, about the airport. At any time, we are losing the airport to China. No, and tomorrow you're going to find an NRM propagandist saying to Ribasasuli. Mazima kubindukide chichechifu. Bukuba kechifu mututere wakalaba wakati mu kibuga mukuba amasaso okwononera erinnya ly'eggwanga. Then you find people on TV shows smiling. What are you smiling? Sometimes nebuuza, because I can't be in opposition and share the same tables with these guys on political panels. What we be too much nga tetulina kubi discussing ira not even to listen to people. Nga tebiri konti katunyonyola ki otunyonyola ki. Because at the end of the day, but we have members of parliament bali mu bifo byabwe nziza yonta mu parliament, and you expect those fools to organize a protest vote. How I wish enaku zali separated. The day we are voting for the president is separate from the day we are voting for members of parliament. I'm very, very sure they turn up for that day of members of parliament. Yali by the law. We are tired. We are tired. Tosobola kubeera n'ennyanya 5 namu. N'ennyanya nazo nanvundu zino zonna zitalwala. So we can't be in a parliament. Yes, I give maximum respect to Joe Resenyo and other leaders that have done great work there. But at the end of the day, what are the results? Tufunye muki. Buli teeka liyisenga we lyagala. Ery'emmwanyi lyayita. Trying civilians in martial courts neryo lyayita. And it is sad era twasirika busirisi nga tuwulidde okumanya bannayuganda oba tukunamira. Every member of parliament was given 100M. 100M. And it is sad. It is sad that in few months tugenda kuzzayo the same fools in parliament. Mmere kije tulya bannayuganda. Mmere kije tulya, because these would have been our questions to these fools. Walya tewalya. Milioni 10 buli mubaka wa parliament bazimuwa. Just for that martial court. Bino ebintu tubimanyi tebagala byogerako. And you know what they are making when they are back in their constituencies. They are good at narrating stories. Ngenda kuza amalwaliro. Ebizibu byaffe bikyali malwaliro. Our problems are no longer roads. Luguudo ki lwogenda tuzimbira? Ezibali nyuzimba all along. So, maliriza ngamba bwenti. It is very, very sad. It is very, very sad. Unless otherwise. But chances of having the same dictator next year are raising high. The bars are raising high. And for the revolution to happen, it's not about these members of parliament that are close to Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Not at all. And if you have hope in them, it is we Ugandans that should now stand and wake up, not even wait for Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu to send it as enough is enough. But if the way things are working around, these things, there's something that are funny happening, that people are now just taking pictures with Robert Kyagulanyi, making a portrait flyer with Robert, Kyagulanyi. The essence is not about politics. Yes, but their essence, their main goal, and I keep on saying it here on NightShift, that these idiots, these members of parliament, 90% of them, tekuli wasobola kugamba sigenda kulera kubanga babyaka luka Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Tekuli konomu. None of them. And by next year still, these people bagenda kugula batandise kugula masuti.
Santos, bano bennyini nze nzijukira akalulu akaggwa. The reason why I have high regard for the late Segirinya, it is Segirinya, Muwa Segirinya way, being despised and undermined. Seginya was the only MP gwenalaba. Nze nganze eyakola live. In fact, Seginya introduced that thing of Mr. Update. Nga Seginya mobilizing people. Nga gakaluka president bakabye banange to veil. I never saw any other MP mobilizing people to the streets. And for me, in my conscience, one of the things that perhaps could have brought Seginya problems inti yeyeke yavaayo nga amobilizing abantu ku street nagamba president bamubya akalulu tuveeyo abasigadde bonna bali mu kutegeka kugolola masuupi bagenda kulayira. These are the same people we are busy drumming support for. I'm not saying yes we should not have our people, but look at now the way they are fighting for the cards. Bonna n'endusu zibayika balinga MPC the hyenas tibatunuulidde na mukama waabwe engeri gye balina okumobilizing am. No, it is the foot soldiers, it's you and me, Santos, that are advocating for the revolutionary idea, that are advocating for the protest vote. Bo bali bali mu bifo batandise n'okubribing abaana baffe mu activism kati n'abaana batandise okutekinga sides ez'ekisiru ezitatugattako mu maaso. People are now focusing on just positions, and this is why we say, comrades, use your brains. This is where the dictator wants us to be. Bonna abo bonna Santos nga bweyogedde bagenda kuba wali nga balinze kukwata masuuti gaabwe genda kulayira. None of them is going to advocate for people on the protest vote to the streets. Gena Maso Santos. Then we'll have Comrade Mugisha.
So, because sometimes I'm like, obanga ndeko ku kitebe kya note nga babaka bonna bakunganye nsabeko muzinda. Bibagambe because bayinza okuba tebanna bibagamba. Tulina obulumi bwaffe ku mitima. Nkyebuuza ekyuma kya kasasiro kitundibwa kiti e Rwanda. And 80% of the councillors in Kampala are not affiliated. We need explanations. Butononya nazukunyonyola nakubula. And the speakers were yomu kubagenda okwesimba utuwagala kumanya mwaliwa. And Martin, I was told that a lot of things are happening ku KCC awo. Ate kiri ku KCC ekisinga kiri mu parliament.
Ate oyo speaker yengini oyo ali mu kuvaayo. I'm not saying that people shouldn't come out. In fact, Santos, you've raised this issue, and I think it's high time we spoke about this thing. Some of us gather a lot of information about some of these people. You cannot tell me a lot of manyanga that has been happening in KCCA.
Yes, a moment. I want us to make a disclaimer that what is being said here, it is said by we, the people, because they may use it against another candidate per the guidelines that the EMC has put up today, that if you fuel or you speak about the other candidate, malice or whatever, and that whatsoever, it may affect another candidate. So it's just a disclaimer. It's not that what people are saying is not right or wrong, but it's a disclaimer that it is the night shifters that are saying this. It is not the candidates are not liable for this.
Thank you, Comrade Mugisha, for that. Yes, I want to say this categorically clear. For me, I'm going to speak as Moji Martin on the night shift. I'm an independent person. I do my research as an analyst. But some of the people that are standing in, especially some of them that have been at KCCA, there's a lot of reports on how some of those people have been part of the schemes generated by the regime. And for me, my question is, how do we again trust them people? These are the same people creating havocs. These are the same people creating discrepancies around. You know, Toina Wongamba, someone in KCCA, that the name has been in all the scandals around. This is the same person now. Gena Maso Santos.
Disclaimer. Everyone that is listening, this is Santos. I'm a noob supporter. I'm not supporting any leader. I don't have a card at the moment. I only support anyone with a card and the umbrella. That is one. And two, I'm not sent by anyone. These are my views and my opinions. These are my views as a Ugandan, as a concerned Ugandan. So, my question or my point is, because media didn't pay much attention to this, and we need answers from the Lord Mayor. We need answers from all councillors. We need answers.
Even the speaker.
The speaker as well. We need answers. We need answers. They don't have Lord Mayor nga akabirira sije wa nupu nga mugamba tukusaba oyogerene ba councillor kubanga basinga bava mu kibiina kyo about the harm issues and simanya na mugabo something. My brother Lord Mayor apparently kumanya ebintu bingi biyita mu KCCA, but because media is paying much attention to parliament than there, a lot of deals zitawo, and we know very well that media is not focusing there. It is paying much attention. There is Katogo, there is Kavuyo. Momula kumukoko wa lero ngenkube etonyo lwa lero. And my prayer is singa Antonyera ina kuunganya endala. Who is answerable? Now people died. Asasiro yabazika bonna ne bagwawo. And the rightful people that were very, very responsible. 1, Road Mayor. 2, Minister of Health. 3, Minister wa Kampala. Councillors were responsible. Ku bantu abo bonna abafa. Mwe, tulina obulumi and we have information just that temunnatugwako mu ttaano. You should be very, very lucky that maybe akalukanyiriza okukyusa government eno mu mirembe and the next government comes nebatwala mu bintu bya kooti simanya biti mutunyonyole. But it will be very, very sad for you guys and all the political leaders when everything changes in just minor, when it is we people of Uganda, when it is we Ugandans that have made change. Now we are not listening to Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, we are not listening to cultural leaders, we are not listening to religious leaders. I don't think you people, you run away from us because we shall hunt you, we shall look for you, and you will pay in a very bad and disgraceful manner that even your grandchildren will never forget. Pray very hard that the regime changes in a very constitutional way and in a very good way. But once it changes in a very bad way, everyone will be answerable, starting from the president, right, and to the end, to the chairman level. Thank you so much for listening to me, Moji Martin.
Thank you, Santos, for that. And I want to stand in solidarity with you to say that we are not going to be intimidated. We are not going to shun away from the people contributing to our mess in our country. And then the same people are coming right now to do havoc in the revolution. Mukoze emivuyo tujimanyi ate mutandise n'okugyoyongeramu ne mu bya card. Mutandise n'okuinfluencing abagundi tetubogerako no. Comrades, we are not going to tolerate that. We are fighting a dictator that is taking every opportunity that is available to him. Either some people are deliberately participating in that opportunity or unknowingly participating in that opportunity. And it's costing us. People are disappearing. Lwabantu abamu abali mu bifofofo nga bo bazanya byabwe baloza kuba bayita ku masanyalaze ga Kyagulanyi bo kyagwa. Mwe, don't play with this revolution. I told you, comrades, that earlier on, if you saw the video of Eddie Mutwe while he was in court, aina sign gyakoze na anybody who didn't interpret that nga kugamba waliwo bwe batidde mu basement. People are being killed. People are disappearing. Today it will be you. Today it will be Anchored. It will be you, Santos. It will be me. Nobody is safe. And then you're seeing people who are playing these stupid political games. When we need to be united. No. Some of us move in fear. Some of us can no longer move freely. We can no longer interact freely. Before I move, I have to contact Mugisha and Emubulirako Kakati. Like, come on, guys. Who would want to move like that in this country of ours? Even you, the comrades, and all of us, perhaps in the diaspora. Is that the kind of life you'd want?
Amuti Martin, before my phone battery goes down, allow me to present this. I'm speaking this as a supporter. Amani, we do research here at the Night Shift. Not so La Santos and Muji Martin and other fellow night shifters. Then, am I loud and clear, Muji Martin?
You are, my brother.
Yes, you're allowed to read.
This is not a hearsay because baganye propaganda, baganye simia, wabula. We are now looking about abantu bafabe simbiewo. And where am I going to start from? One of the members in the race is Madame Zahara. And before she was elected Machi India East Stoke West area councillor. And one of the things that I note, it is her role in the Lukwago vote of no confidence, stroke impeachment 2013. This was an impeachment launched by NRM people and some dissidents in opposition who were leaning with the NRM, siding with Jennifer Musisi. You remember the days of 2013. In late 2013, KCCA councillors moved to remove Road Mayor Elias Lukwago. Zahara Luyirika was among the councillors who participated in that process and voted for his removal. However, the impeachment was controversial and was later challenged in court. Some judicial rulings and injunctions affected the process. Court action eventually nullified aspects of the removal. Since then, we come closer to another point. In 2016, we were talking about 2013. In 2016, Zahara experienced a notable shift in her political journey. Remember the other one was 2013. That means it was an election. Was it 2006? After 2006, they were finishing the first term. Then 2016 election. In 2016, according to reports, she lost her seat as the woman councillor for Machindia West in the 2016 general election, defeated by Doreen Sabuka of the FDC. Following her electoral defeat, she went on to secure a position within the KCC, a technical wing Remember, one of the reasons why she failed, it was okulya opposition olukwe ne bajjako Elias ne ba impeaching Elias Lukwago nga bana bagende wa Museveni bakansala betuulira nti bakansala ba NUP abamu bagende wa Museveni nga bakukuta ne tutamanya bakansala ba KCC ani abatwale wa Museveni. And after her defeat in 2016, immediately she was appointed in she secured a position within the KCCA technical wing, transitioning from an elected political role into a non-political administrative or technical wing within the city authority. So in summer 2016, she lost her match in the West Woman to Doreen, and post 2016, she began working with the same KCCA in a technical or administrative capacity, and you know how that works. It is by appointment. Or some people may say you put or take a popular, but we know how bureaucracy works. Coming forward to 2021, joined with the DP bloc, won again her seat in Machindia West, became a speaker, and she's concluding everything that is happening. And right now, we are seeing one of the turmoils that every person is talking in her own way. We call for ceasing fire from all sides. But as we call for the cease of fire, we call upon our political party to be keen and look with a very, very strong eye, so that we don't just let things go without understanding why they are happening the way they are happening. Kiringo okulaba omusota mu lusuku leero n'osirika n'ogamba abaana mukukube n'enkya n'okulaba okuddako olina okunoonya naye bakijijja mingi mu lusuku, because this is a revolution. We have young foot soldiers who put their lives on the line, being abducted, killed, and all that. We shouldn't take their life for granted. We should be very conscious with people who are playing dirty politics when their past isn't anyhow clean. Someone will say, but someone who has been within the opposition, and every time it makes us to ask ourselves, if it is not right, or it was wrong, or in any way it is, we should be very curious about these things. And we should be very open-minded in these things and understand people we are dealing with. My word is, let's follow what the EMT has put up. Let's not engage in unleashing our supporters to smile team, Zahara. Nonsense things when we have things that really are beneficial to the country that we need to discuss. The illegalities that are happening in Uganda, the abductions, the killings, and the torture, the human rights abuses that are happening in our country. Some of us living in fear, even fearing our shadows. Away from such nonsensical.
Ankad, can you hear me? Ankad, show me a thumbs up. Justice, General Matways. Sometimes I don't want to pick a microphone because I really don't have what to say. There are things I just want to watch. Ankad, sometimes I overstretch. I'm like, but why am I stretching so much like this? I've just been on. I was on the wall of Kenyans. I was on the wall of the US. I was on the wall of Uganda in the morning. I'm just like a crook moving up and down. But then I was when Mugisha was speaking, I was listening and I was struggling with writing a small tweet. I don't know whether my money. I was because I was trying to write a small tweet talking about the Uganda cranes. They're talking about the Uganda cranes were sleeping where, and then I'm like, but some of these things are associated with how we're developed. It's associated with how we became Ugandans. Even if you give Ugandans knowledge, even if you give them, I don't know, they don't use it. First of all, I've been talking about sports for years, for very many years, including writing, because I was a stakeholder. I participated in sports of Uganda, and I think Ankad, you have seen the tweet. The first strike I ever participated in was against the federation, the officials, the Uganda Federation. And that was in 1990. I was still young, so I was supposed to run for Uganda or to represent the country in the Eastern Central Athletics Championship. And we refused to run at that time because of allowance. And I remember, was it Beto Queer? She was the minister then. They held us in Makerere, say you can't refuse to run for your country, you'll be punished heavily. But we refused. But then what I was saying, that we led a strike as athletes and took over office as athletes. As young people, we took over office. But what amuses me that the people who took over office in 1990 are the ones still holding office up to this day. It also requires now another group to take a strike. So what am I saying? The Uganda cranes, you have a batch, I don't know, people who can only kick the ball without heads. And that's what they are. Whether I tell them that this money comes from FIFA for development, money comes for this kind of tournament, even for where to sleep. I've seen people discussing, and this was supposed to sleep in Sheraton or anywhere, in any of those hotels. But the people are like, okay, the people whom you tell they're supposed to sleep in Sheraton, they feel they don't deserve, they don't even understand. So for me, sometimes I just get disgusted of discussing things that, when it comes to elections, it's not about elections as people think. It's about jobs. People would like to get employed. Having an office, having an MP seat is a job. It's not purposely for representing people. It's a job. It's a meaningful employment for those who get it eventually, although they claim they represent people. So it's not hard to see people fighting each other. It's like if you just said, let's apply for a position of MP. You'll get surprised how many applications they get per constituency. There'll be hundreds, there'll be thousands. So the problem is larger than we who sit in space here and we start condemning those who are fighting for it. It is internal. It is somebody's unemployed. They want employment. They don't want to represent you. They want employment. And Mugisha, I feel your pain. You can even feel my pain. But sometimes I'm like, And if we still think it is an election, Mugisha will not get results. The whole thing is supposed to be, for me, I've been maintaining from time indefinite street solutions. I first one time had a lot of hope in the ghetto because they feel the pain, but they settled now for nothing because they had nothing. So they feel what they have achieved is too much. That country for now, the solution is people taking up. It's an insurrection. It's an insurrection. There must be people ready to be on the streets for years, for days, for months. Politics has already entered in. And of course, like I've often said, we lost the revolution. We won an election and lost the revolution. And we're now on the election. So anything on an election, I think, well, the standard procedure, if you have more than 3 candidates, is to have party primaries. This is what we're doing here. If I posted for you how my governor is faring the party primaries, you can see it. It's to have party primaries. Those are standard procedures. Yes, candidates come up. Candidates come up. You have 5. What do you do? Subject them to a ballot. The party primaries. Well, if there's a procedure for compromise, then well and good. But I think there's one thing that Mugisha has just mentioned, which is very important. You, the voters, getting involved in mudslinging each other. Let the party primaries maybe be done so that people lose honorably, and then at the end of the day, they'll line up behind a candidate who has been. But the procedures can't be standard in Uganda. They can't be. They can't be. They can't be. They can't be. Yeah, I talk about party primaries because I saw them. Vivek, who was supposed to be president, who was a presidential nominee here, eventually, when we had party primaries, he lost. I still have his results. And after losing, I think I still have pictures where he held us together and said, now let's all of us support Trump. The following day, the t-shirts had printed t-shirts, save Trump. After party primaries, we lost and we agreed, and he lost and he put us together. So I'm requesting all of you, my supporters, go for Trump. We'll go for Trump. And that's what we did. I just did not wake up somewhere and I started supporting Trump. I first started supporting Vivek because he was a young man, very vibrant. He's like Chagulanyi when he moves. He makes you feel him. I was trying to look for a t-shirt for the so that I take a picture of eventually the t-shirts that we got the day we lost, the day he surrendered. So Mugisha, I don't know how those things will be resolved without tearing people apart. Mugisha, I didn't intend to pick the microphone, but when I'm like, now if I don't speak, Anka doesn't want to speak. Dark matters, speak. Let's congregate and speak. It helps so that maybe there will be a listener here and there. But Yes, the things I don't know how we are going to resolve, how you are going to resolve that thing which I'm already seeing dividing people so much. I saw this other lady. She has just held her own press conference saying that she was not involved. And like, now what do you do? What's really going on? So Mugisha, for now, that's what I can say. I was trying to look for my t-shirts, so the t-shirts I got after Vivek lost. I've got one. Let me take a picture and show you.
Yeah, as doctor comes in, am I loud and clear, Moji Martin? Moji Martin, can you hear me? Okay. I was saying, as doctor comes in, and people request for the microphone, please. I see Las Santos is back, Rukanga, Dark Matter. Please request for the microphone, because if you request for the microphone, it helps the conversation to continue going on and on and on. First of all, doctor, I want to tell you that with today's meeting, it was a contention between two candidates. So one candidate wasn't, other candidates weren't, needed to be there because they haven't vetted anyone. There is nobody who has been vetted so far on that position, because the vetting for the members of parliament was extended. And so another thing, the statement is stated of the vice president of Buganda, stating that if it was a general statement, in language, that's why when you go to university, they teach you communication skills. Because it was a general statement stating that if all the candidates engage in smear campaign, including herself, they will have to disqualify all of them and start new vetting for other candidates, because the National Unity Platform is not short of candidates who can occupy that post. That was the statement that the vice president for Buganda stated. It was a general statement. It wasn't just only for the two. It was a futuristic statement in that context. And they went ahead and set guidelines that if you continue in the same, they can disqualify one candidate if one candidate is found guilty. And also, if two candidates are all found guilty in terms of malice and whatever, both of them can be disqualified. So the guidelines were there. The supporters, especially the strong supporters who are candidates, for example, some councillors who had also started involving in the same, they were also put to the same task that if you continue doing the same, you will be disqualified and you will be penalized as per the laws of the EMC. And not only that, also the media people, they were cautioned to be very conscious with how they do their work, especially the media people from our party. They cautioned them to work with ethics, and anyone who will be found guilty of fueling the divisionism, malice, and propaganda against each other, which is bringing a lot of problem in the revolution, will be dealt with without almost energy, or the long arm of energy of power of the NUP Election Management Committee. And I want us, members of the Night Shift, that issue happened. We should put it to a close. At least I gave you a preamble of what of the research, that all that is there on the table. People know every person's dark and best and better and worst and worster. But that doesn't stop us. And I want to urge you, Kampala people, why would you go for the Kampala Carnival when we lost people in Chitezi? It's a refurbishment of the carnival, and they are set to make a carnival on 5th October in Uganda. And you know what this means? It means a lot of things might come with it, but to me, I believe it is not a good thing, and I know Ugandans mwagala ebyobwerere kugenda kukwana na kukola ki, but be cautious of such things that they are planning. Ebyuma bya kasasiro babibangala Santos bwagambye naye yabayise mu kanivo mujje babozeeko ennaku y'ebyuma ebyabbibwa ebya kasasiro, nammwe abafiirwa abantu byammwe mu kiteezi mujje mukuba omuziki, nammwe bwe batannaba kukompasetinga ab'omu kiteezi nabo bwe bagoba ku mataka baali bwe bagamba nti beesinza mu ntobazi babawaddeyo ka free time mujje mudigidemu nga mujaguza olw'ebyo byabatuukako. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mujimatin. Please speak to us. And members, please request for the microphone. Mujimatin will approve them. Before I forget another thing, I want to thank you all. We got a new gadget. Yes, we are still setting the gadget so that we see that the spaces don't fall or be hacked by this dictatorial regime. That's why you see we are still on. We got the gadget, and I want to thank everyone who contributed towards getting a new gadget for the night shift. Thank you very much. And back to you, Mujimatin.
So I think I'll just share with you I've shared with you the polls, how they're standing. We have 3 people from the Republican Party who are vying for the governorship. There are 4. And of course, Eddie Andrews, who is my House Rep, is leading in the polls. The Democrats have 2. And you can see what the polls look like. So these primaries are going to produce 2 candidates, basically. One for the Republican Party, one for the Democrats. And I was giving you examples that these examples are also were held for the same presidential races. And for me, I was, of course, I said I was a Vivek person. Vivek is very infectious. He's this kind of person who will make you mad. The guy is good in speech, in everything. He's very, very clever, very, very articulate. He's a great orator. And he was against Trump before. He was against Trump. The way he was speaking, we can't just continue being pushed around by these rich people. The party has to transform. And he came in as a young person with great ideas. Actually, eventually, he was leading. He's the one who started the Dodge thing. But eventually, now he's standing also as a governor for Ohio. There's a difference between Ohio and Iowa. So Vivek is standing as a governor. He says to support the presidency, you need strong governors. So he has decided to stand as a governor in the state where he comes from. I'm just trying to show you how dialogue is reached. You have more than 3 candidates, 4 candidates. Other than having let them have a ballot. That's what democracy looks like. But the mudslinging that goes on here and there, and then supporters, I was listening to, it's trash. It's trash that comes from the communication from the supporters. I don't know what happened yesterday for the prisoners who were brought for mention of. You can see that people are attacking each other, and you're attacking Malende. I don't know even about Malende, but they're attacking her because of the supporters who want her out of the seat. They're not really attacking her on substance. So the whole thing is dirty. But this thing can be sorted out strongly. It can be sorted out. So as a country, there are a lot of things that we are going to learn, that we need to subscribe to, since we have chosen to play in the mud. You can't have democracy and play it partially. You must subscribe and subject yourself to it since you have chosen to. Otherwise, some of us have remained revolutionary. I'm not kind to people who don't have. That's why I was saying that for me, you don't post for me the cranes, and you post their picture, and you want us to pick sympathy. It is the cranes who they don't know their rights. Playing football doesn't give you a right. You're just kicking the ball like any other person, but there are rights that come with responsibility. The game you're playing has laws. The game you're playing is highly sponsored. There is no other game in the world that has money more than football. It's that money that I spoke about Anita Mongi Stadium maybe 6 months ago. That woman doesn't get that money comes from FIFA. But you have these guys who just now think they have to kick the ball without brains. Ask yourself, what are we entitled to? Is it factual? Because Ugandans, when you presented them with facts, for you to host these games, the first thing they show the fields. Then after showing the fields, show hotels. It's a fact. The standard they give you that the local organizing committee must show a series of hotels that I think 5-star, because you're bringing in other countries. So these people must not. And then security, and then transport, and then what? All those things that go with that game. And now you get yours and put them into Chinawataka, and the people who have been put into Chinawataka feel they should sacrifice and play for the country. No. For me, I remember we participated in strike, like I said, 90. We refused to run. Because by then, the president of athletics, the owner of Kibo restaurant, was feeding us in a Kibo restaurant, and people are like, but this is your restaurant. So we refused to run. Then one transferred from Makerere to Nile Hotel in Jinja. Can you imagine at that time, as young people, I wasn't young, of course, I was my early, I think early 20s. But what disappoints me that after we striked, we reorganized ourselves into an election to become office bearers. And the people who took over athletics have never left office up to this day from 1990. Now, again, you need the quality, you need the caliber of athletes, because the Cheptegei are just runners. Once you have gotten a gold and what have you just don't think about your colleagues. The Halimas, it's like, you have this international stage platform. How are you using it? Zero. So that's we have a serious developmental crisis in the country, and it starts with the individuals not knowing their rights. As individuals, people just don't know their rights. People just want to hang on. People are just flowing by the stream. Then you hear youths, we don't have a platform. Where do you want to get a platform? You fight for it. You fight for a platform. Nobody gives you that platform. And that platform is defended through a constitution. It's constitutional. Whether you use the UN, whether you use even those that is so-called African, whatever. These things are just spoken in a language. African Union, what is it? The East African Community, what is it? These things are just spoken. Ugandans are just out of everything. So in this election, even if this is what I was asking a very simple question on people are saying, if Chagulanyi has a clout, how come he lost an election? I have just asked that person who put that. It's not about him losing an election. What about the person who won? Who did he win? Who did he win? You don't collect this institution around yourself and claim you have won. I ask a simple question: how are institutions functioning after you have won? Now you have this crowd that think they are going to win an election. But what does it mean to win an election? The results must be seen in what you can deliver as a country. So it is not in elections, it is in sports, it is in women's rights, it is. And then you look at, sometimes you see Nabanja and you think, I didn't want to use always this bad language of abusing people. Yesterday I was asking Anka that, why do you share? That times I become emotional and use very bad language, and when I see people sharing, I'm like, I don't want people to follow me. That's not what I want to train you in. Nabanja has just abused all the women's rights. something I call, a golden chance put on a nostril of a pig. If you get a golden ring and you put it on the nostril of a pig, the pig will not notice having gold. It will use it in digging soil. This is what you have the likes of Nabad. So Mugisha, sometimes I fail to pick. Not that I don't want to pick a microphone. I'm like, but what will I say? What is new? The things I say are the things I said yesterday to the same people. It's more of a conversation, in the house. This morning I was on our space, Stand Up Uganda, and I'm like, but you people. Okay, it is people in the diaspora. As a diaspora, how do we just say we're in the diaspora? And then the diaspora also shows up. Me. Nobody in Uganda can tell me things. Not that. It's like if you're talking about a hospital, I have seen a hospital with helicopters here. So how do you come from Uganda, which has no helicopter, and you come tell me? You're not going to come from Uganda and tell me about roads. Every road here is tarmacked. Every road. And if you want to go on the Maram Road, you'll pay to go on the Maram Road. I pay for these kids to go and see what a cow looks like. Huh? Should I talk about fishing? Something you see me every day doing. In my country, you're killing people because of, and yet it's a solution. There are solutions. Have fish ponds in every village. The Department of Natural Resources, it's called DNR here. It has planted fish in every village. So fishing is a community thing. The commercial one, you even don't know where it is. But for us who have community ponds, you even have enough fish to feed every person in the community. And they're planted by the country. If the country is now very hot, right now, if I can't survive in the house, I just drive out and go to a center, an emergency center. When I go there, I'll be fed, I will be given everything, and then until when it will go back home. It's free. This way a country is a country. Some of these things will look like rocket science, will look like I'm in heaven when I'm telling you. But when it is hot and it's too hot and we can't survive in the house, so just jump in a car, we drive to a cooling center. Either you go to a fountain. That's what winning an election means, that you win an election to change the status of your citizens. You don't use destitutes. You don't, it's almost, Mugisha, you people who know the law, it's almost wrong for anyone to go and ask for a vote from a poor person. That's not consent. That's not it's not an informed choice. It's an influenced choice. Of course, an election is to influence. You ask for you but it's not informing as an educated. It's not a decision made out of education. That's why they are using t-shirts. That's why they're using waraji. That's why they're using meat. It's not doctors telling the people that no, we are supporting you because your policy works. Here, farmers will parade for you with the tractors because they are farmers. And Mugisha, why don't I stop there? Because even all the people I'm speaking to here are all informed people. You want to speak to people who are, you want people. So Mugisha, can I change anything in you? No. You're a person who has trouble. You know what the world looks like. Dark matter. Can I change you? No. What about anchored? No. Anyway, Mugisha, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. What I've got to know is that maybe Miji Martin is he has some issues, but the space is still on, and if you put in your request, he can approve it. So it means we are at least somewhere in terms of stabilizing our spaces once again. So please request for the microphone. At least let's hear your voice. At least say something. The truth is that the struggle is far from ending, and it is near from ending. Both of the statements are true. In the context of if we do what we should do, as the president usually says, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, if we do what we have to do, we shall end this dictatorial regime or this dictator that has sat on our country for over 40 years and now planning a dynastic rule. But if we choose to fight petty fights, Kuba Bugigi, and we go into Kuba Bugigi, we are far from achieving what we want to achieve. The earlier, the better. I think was it yesterday when I told people that if we don't achieve what we have to achieve by this or next year, or the next year's election is going to determine where our country will be 50 years. And not only that, today the dictator was somewhere opening up. It was in Busia, by the way.
But I missed something on what you are saying. How are you resolving this standoff within these three women? Because it's like we're covering it. You just need to.
I talked about it, that the EC and the Deputy President for Uganda made a statement And the third woman, I'll start from this woman, Simayabichi, because not the other two, the main contenders. This woman, she didn't understand the statement of Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi when he said that if all candidates are found guilty in terms of engaging in malice and using dark magic, in political dark magic, they will disqualify all members, and then they will go in for new vetting if it is needed. It wasn't an affirmative, it was a general statement. It doesn't exclude anyone because nobody has been vetted yet for that position. The vetting for the MPs was pushed to October. So it was a general statement. There is no call for an alarm from her to start again putting salt into the wound that we are trying to heal. It was a general statement that any land person who studied communication skills can understand. And these two, they made guidelines that if, for example, if the team of Zahara continues the smear campaign towards Malende, they will have to disqualify Zahara. If the team of Shamim does the same, we'll get the same medicine. If both teams continue doing the same, they will have to disqualify the two candidates. Because there were some some people like councillors and media personalities, NUP media personalities, who are fueling this, continue speaking about this and spreading malice and propaganda against each other's camp. They were also warned that they will be disqualified on their positions as councillors and be taken to a disciplinary way. But this doesn't mean that it will stop. Remember, the dictator uses such loopholes to continue fueling. So to me, as I told you that I have a book, my eyes are on anyone who will not koto. I think akumukategede lukanga angadi akagambo kakoto mukategede. Anyone who will not koto in the uphold of the guidelines of the EMC will, to me, on my side, will be the person being used to send the national unity platform into chaos. And our eyes now are open. We take everything that happens for our advantage. So that was the resolvement of today, and they all made a commitment. That's why after there, they all came and there was a brief press conference was called, and everyone swore to put a stop at this. So that's why I was also calling members. Let us start noting one by one down, because we also have files about different candidates. For example, there are files that one candidate was used by the government in impeachment of Elias Lukwago in 2013. It is on record as the road mayor, and the same person lost his election as councillor in 2016 to FDC's Doreen. And after losing that election, the government of Museveni gave him a technical job in KCCA. And after that, the next election was 2021, where she came with the DP bloc, joined the National Unity Platform, and won back her position in Machindi. And thus becoming a speaker. Year in, year out controversies since 2013. It is not something to just leave like that. So we should know that all that is there. So people who are on her side, if you continue doing like that, the people of the other side can use that information, which can damage. Also, I'm not saying that Shamim is a saint. She may be having her own backlashes. If you dig, but we don't have to resolve there. People abantu balokoka. Ayinza okubanga biriya birokoka nga bwe yadde eno, we have the Nambeshes, we have the SGs, we have a lot of people. Because the party we belong to is the National Community Platform. It's where you come with your bad behaviors from wherever you have come with them, and we polish you. That's why you saw a lot of ghetto boys and girls contesting in the elections and being the hope. Because you stated it very well, Dr. Mungadi, that hope was in the ghetto people now, in 2002, in the youth and people in the ghettos. So it means the National Unity Platform is a party that polishes. And this will go. Ka weekend ko kadde kalina okugwa abaana balina okwesabula mu ka weekend ate neero olaba nti pate bwevuddeyo n'ebitereza tetulabye kusabula nnyo ku weekend ng'okwabaddewo on Friday, which means we are progressing very well. And whoever continues fueling this dispute, just know fepeni yaffe myufu eri nga NightShift nga tutandika okukuba mu tooki lwaki olemezzaamu ku nsonga zino ezaagala okwawulayawula mu kibiina. That could be put aside those akuzeemu Dr. Mungadi mbadde yakugamba nti nno magatto dictator Mwami Museveni abadde wammwe Busiya ng'azze kugulawo kiwuma ky'Abachina ekigenda okufulumya sima y'abagambye ttani 5 eza koloni. Make research about that. But that is what is happening in Busia. Thank you.
And Education now, you see where the problem is. The people of Busia, as they stand, cannot fight for that gold. Now, amongst the fellas who can fight for gold in Busia, it's me. But how many of me are there? There's a way we need to nationalize this gold Like that, every Ugandan. Now this thing is now. Surely if you leave it to Busia, those guys would ride those bicycles. Do you see any? So it's supposed to be a national asset that all of us as Ugandans need to understand. What does this gold mean to us? Busia cannot fight for that gold. Most of them have been deceived. There are poor people who have been deceived. It's compensated poorly.
And Dr. Mungadi, what you're saying, why it is true, on the occasion, the people who should be central on that occasion would have been the local government, the mayors, the chairmen of the villages. But you saw Mr. Museveni with, not even Mr. Dictator Museveni, with his Chinese cutting ribbons, like, I have given you your thing, you extract as much as you want. Nobody should tell you anything. Without any project or plan that people in this community, they will benefit like this, jobs will be distributed like this, the revenue that will come will be benefiting the community like this, and the families, and nothing. It was like, get the key, start driving your car. Go on.
By the way, if you have any of those pictures, share with me so that I can also hit this Chinese. None of us can play in China, but they come to play in our districts, in our country. You can't, even where I am here right now, things are so tight. As a foreigner, you almost have no rights. And yet these guys can come and they're cutting ribbons. So what is our take? This is a question we want to ask. As you sign, what's our take to people of Busia? What's our take to Uganda? Yesterday I saw the secretary something of in minerals saying yes, the agreements, the trade agreements are being revised, but to benefit who? Because you can't revise these agreements to benefit just one family. First of all, you have they call him Toyota, Museveni's brother. You have Benz. Is it somebody Seiko? Their names. Then you have the other side. You have the Inspector General. Their names being mentioned in these minerals. I'm sure Salim Saleh himself has become a money lord in Igulu. There should be stakes to every person in the country. How do we help Ugandans to understand that this is supposed to benefit all of us? Gold is our only rescue. It's not the army. It's gold. As financial markets collapse, as currencies, people keep currencies as gold. Now you have natural gold, and they don't have natural mines. We have gold mines, but not gold mines. Mukisha, share with me some pictures if you have.
Yeah, I'm going to share here in the thing, and then you get them. But the project Simanyanga Wagagai gold mining. But when you see pictures, you only see military people. You see Museveni with his ministers, not even a local. That this is because I know in Busia you have clan leaders, you have whatever. Nothing like showing that indigenous Ugandans or settlers, the people like you, your families, that the family of Dr. Mungadi, the family of so and so, you weren't represented anywhere. It's like they are giving out their thing. Let me send in your inbox here. You can check your inbox. Have you seen something there, Dr. Mungadi?
Let me check.
And do you know what they're saying? That Wagagai project is expected to generate over $100 million annually for 21 years. And that is the smallest. With the gold you have, do you know what it means? $100 million annually. And that is the smallest because that is small if they are talking about 99.9 purity in gold processing locally. Back to you, Doctor, and the host. Guys, request for the microphone.
I think I'm concentrating on making a tweet. I want to make a tweet on these minerals because it definitely hurts looking at the poverty indicators, the poverty levels in our country, and people just come to play around, and the whole country is not. It's not. I mean, the agreement should be China on the other side and Ugandans on this side, not with Museveni. No. Museveni doesn't represent us anymore.
And Dr. Mungadi, you check that last picture I've sent you. Even the gate that enters, they like to show. It is written in Chinese, not even in Samia, not even in English. Back to you, Doctor.
No, I've already seen it. I'm just trying now to make a tweet. I'm trying to, and I want to make a tweet and connect all these departments of commerce of the US. These guys are just exploiting us. We just can't continue shouting at us because we are immigrants. People should know what we have that makes us to immigrate. It's the minerals. We don't immigrate just because we want. You come and take away the minerals and we have nothing, and then you call us economic immigrants. If China can leave China to come and explore minerals in Busia, so who of Ugandans have left Uganda can't explore anything in China? That there's even fish. Can we go to China? India has come. It's India in Lake Victoria. The Nile patch is theirs.
And Dr. Mungadi, what people don't know about your place, Busia, near Busia, as you know, your place, Busia, is not so big. Over 25 million tons of gold ore in Busia, the smallest. 25 million tons of gold ore. Do you know what it means? Leave alone the other depots in Kasanda, Mubeni, Namaimo, Ibanda, Busheji, Buweju, Chisolo, Karamoja region, and many others. But only Busia has 25 million tons of gold.
And we are only 980,000 people. Busia, we're not even a million people. We are 980,000.
But with gold, you have 25 million tons.
No, what I'm saying, we are only 980,000 Samias in Busia. We are less than a million people, and we have tons of gold. And yet, when you look at poverty indicators, it is Karamoja, then something like Busoga, and then us. So how can you even tell us there's gold? The thing I never tell the Bazungu here that people, when you look at me, people think I'm a destitute. My grandfather's land has gold, but I'm a destitute in here. Anyway, let Mugisha allow me to make that tweet because I'm too annoyed. I mean, Mugisha, the issue is that if I'm not even in that agreement, if I'm not even attended, because amongst the people who speak in Busia, the only people who have, I count me amongst them. So if I'm not there, how do you tell me you have signed an agreement in my district? Because most of people in my district,
even if
they don't care.
And even if they say that people in Busia, half of the gold, let it work in Busia, half. I believe Dr. Mugadi would be back in the country and building a state of art hospital in Busia. It could work Busia to become a
when you're talking about half, man, that is too much. Not even half. Not even half. You're talking about the gold is worth $12 trillion US. $12 trillion US. That's the economy of Africa combined.
And that is only in your place, Busia municipality, because I've read it clearly. It is Busia municipality.
Anyway, let me make this tweet. I'll be listening.
Me also, I'm going to be quiet, guys. Request for the microphone. Muji Martin, I believe, microphone here by GCB. But since we have a new gadget, we can still be going as we fight. Dr. Mungadi Molibagogo, Mulino Sente. And people call you a financial immigrant. I'm sorry to laugh, but it's really sad.
We still have a struggle. And now, as I was trying to scroll through the internet, I'm seeing Malema is fighting over his father's. Hallelujah! A person who should now move on and say, whatever. The other ones are destitutes. The other ones are depending on the will of your father. But you have an education. How can Iwanange, Mugisha? I've just seen Malema is fighting over ancestral. Why do you have an education? An education is a guarantor of these small things you're fighting for. Leave that land and go and find land and find space. That would be me. I can't fight for land. I would buy something somewhere.
Wama Dr. Mungadi me sell for me some copies of land in Busia. Or I should get a Samia woman.
By the way, do you know that as we speak, the Sam Kutesas, the Who's have just bought, like Sam Kutesa, I think runs right from, Mawero, from this place called Mawero. When you go to see it starts from behind the Toro Girls. And now I don't know they know the geography of that place. The whole of that land from Toro Girls running like that along the river up to Busia town. It has been bought by these guys. From Malaba. You know Malaba? If you know Malaba. All the border points, Sam Kutesa, Salim Saleh are the people mentioned in that area. Right from the Malaba border, behind Toro Girls, then you continue along that river like that up to Busia town. These guys have already taken over that place because of gold. There was a rich man there called Osuno Tuan in Tororo. They gave him, I think, 800 million. He was one of the landlords around that place. Very, very sad affair. But like by these people, now if some Kutesa has left Makota to come and buy Tororo, is he going to see our children there? What are they going to do? How can the sellers guarantee their future by displacing the locals? Follow the history of land acquisition around Tororo. You see who is involved. The Uganda Railways, the whole of Uganda Railway quarters, what have you, belong to Salim Saleh. The factories, the soap factory of land. There was a soap factory, the ginning of cotton or what have you was in Tororo at one time, and then we had even an oil and soap factory. That place, to Lucy Livia, is it a war or war? Livia war. Salim Saleh owns those places.
So that is where we are. People are enjoying while you people who own that land, you're in exile. That's why we should fight harder and harder to liberate our country.